Hi everyone, it's Terminator here again. How are you? I hope you're all well. Sorry I haven't posted anything up for a little bit. It's been campaign time for me, so I've moved from playing the one-on-one battles. Just thought I'd check out the old campaign, which is pretty good, worth playing, and I'm actually going to do a series of videos now purely just on campaign. I think the legendary campaign's pretty good. We'll do a long campaign on legendary, which is 40 provinces. But the strategy, I'll show you how to play. You can pretty much do domination. It's 60 provinces, and you know that's not unachievable. But for this, I want to show a couple of things. Is how to expand early in the beginning, and then sort of taper off the attacking sort of mid-game, building up a strong economy to a point where you're pretty much dominant, and then you just smash the absolute crap out of everyone. Okay, and a couple of things I don't do is I don't tend to play naval battles. I'll just auto-resolve the naval battles because they're a bit boring, in my opinion. Where you completely outnumber your opponent by a ridiculous proportion and they've only got 1 or 2 units, I tend to just auto-resolve those ones as well, because they just take up too much time. However, where armies are balanced, I'll always use the actual play the battle out instead of auto-resolving, and so it sort of makes it a little bit harder, because basically auto-resolves are just easy way of winning most encounters if you have a little bit stronger power bar. Even when the power bar is sort of favours your opponent a little, you can tend to get a winnable outcome out of that. And the other thing is it's a good way to, like, you know, it's an easy option if you do outnumber and your opponent by quite a lot. You'll find that if you auto-resolve, you hardly get any losses at all, which makes for really stampeding across the map a lot easier. But I'll tend to play out the battles because it's actually a little bit more fun, but it is a little bit harder. So if you look at the clans, these guys start on this island here, and it's not the easiest legendary campaign. It's actually a little bit more difficult than it actually seems, because once you take this island, you then need to sort of shoot across here and then take this island through here. So that's actually a little bit harder, and then you come across through actual mainland Japan. Shimazu is what we'll do for this particular one, because this is probably the easiest, so it's probably easier to explain a lot of the tactics and that you use to build your economy and sweep across the map. So we'll probably do this one to start with, because I think this is easier to explain. So if you are having difficulties with legendary, this is probably the easiest one to actually complete it, and you can actually complete it rather quickly, but we'll take a little bit of extra time just to show a few different aspects. And then if you actually want to do the campaign yourself, you can either attack earlier than I did and sweep across, or do as I did, and you know, it's actually quite a fun campaign. Most of the ones on mainland Japan are all have a little bit more complexity to them, and that's because your alliances are infinitely more important, and trying to, in your build-up times in the mid-game, can rather be quite complicated, and even some of the starting points can be difficult to sort of expand early and then sort of scale it back. But I reckon these guys actually are really probably the toughest to play, I think. That or I think with Oda, I think the Oda one, I think these guys were actually pretty hard to play on Legendary here. Date wasn't too hard. Date was actually not as hard as it's for mainland, because you're starting up here. It's actually not too bad. It makes it a little bit harder to get a lot of the trade nodes, but it's not definitely not unplayable. But Shimazu, that's really an ideal start if you're just new to campaign and you want to do it on Legendary. Shimazu is definitely the easiest, and you get all the trade nodes here, which are pretty easy to hold. So we'll do that, and on long campaign. So hope you bear with me over the next, I reckon probably 20 videos, I think it is. But hopefully not, won't be that many, but I'll try not to make it that many. But this definitely is, something if you want to watch, and I really enjoyed putting together. So we'll do this. More options. You can scale it back to 40 minutes because most battles tend to only be around the 20-minute to 40-minute mark. So you could probably limit it to 40 minutes. If you don't want to play drop-in battles, you can untick that. I don't tend to when I'm playing campaign because I like to play by myself. You can still get arseholes if you want to have drop-in battles, and sometimes it's really hard to actually find someone. So don't need any advisor help. I don't know if they help too much. Probably does tell you a little bit. You might want to keep it on the high if you're not familiar with the campaigning, because it will actually tell you when you're actually running out of food and shit like that, which is probably pretty important. But it doesn't really make too much of a difference. It's not like it tells you what to do. Okay. Now, so we're pretty set to go, I think. Yep. Start the game off.
"1545. This is Sengoku Jidai, the age of the country at war. For 200 years, the Ashikaga shoguns have ruled from Kyoto. Great splendor and power were theirs. Now the overmighty clans no longer obey. The time has come for a new warlord to become shogun. But who will be victorious? Shimazu lands have always provided for our people. Our enemies are many and envious. They threaten our borders and look for any weakness.
They don't tend to look for weaknesses, actually.
We trace a line back to the first shogun Yoritomo. Loyalty runs deep in the Shimazu. It is in our blood, our traditions. And in battle, our swordsmen are the envy of Japan. No blade is swifter or more feared than ours. Bishamonten, the war god, has woken. Now is the time to defeat our enemies.
And that looks nothing like me.
All will bow to the Shimazu clan. We wait no longer. Destiny calls. We are the Shimazu. This is an auspicious time for our clan. Not only have we established ourselves as masters of Satsuma province, but fate has brought us into contact with a trade ship from the far west. Shipwrecked upon the shores of Tanegashima, the Namban brought with them the promise of lucrative trade. More importantly, they brought teppo, firearms, simple to operate, yet deadly in their effect. Establishing trade relations with the Namban should be a priority.
Not really.
For their
I don't like
weapons
them.
could be the key to our military superiority in Kyushu. It is also
I mean, you can probably
vital
try,
that we begin to extend our
the
power
matchlock
beyond the bounds of
The
Satsuma.
sort of weapons and stuff like that. I don't tend to use them a
Osumi
great
should
deal,
be
so
our fast
particularly not
target.
in campaign.
We are already at war with the ruling Ito clan, and its castle is dangerously close to our borders. It must be captured before the Ito have a chance to muster an army there. We may then proceed with their total subjugation, or alternatively, expansion into Higo. We are not currently
How about
at
both?
odds
We'll
with
do
the
both.
Sagara, the masters there. But seizure of their province will mean a source of superior war horses and a taste of total and lasting victory. With southern Kyushu firmly under our control, none of the other clans will be able to resist. Kyushu will be ours.
Yeah, it's the
But
key.
we must beware of drawing
Take
the
this
ire
island
of
and
Kyoto.
That's pretty much
Should
it.
the Shogunate perceive our growing influence as a threat, it will be necessary to defend ourselves against the Shogun and his allies. In that event, we must be prepared to fend off all who would attack us, no matter from where that threat emerges.
Actually, when
if
you,
the Shogun wishes to halt our expansion,
if you actually play out
let him come here
it
and
pretty
reckon
well,
with us himself.
particularly with your relationship with some of the other factions, with the realm divide, you can actually keep an ally or two. It's not necessarily just all the factions wage war on you. In most of the games that's sort of true, but you can actually play it out where if you build up a strong sort of alliance with one or two of the factions, they actually don't tend to straight off at the realm divide start war with you.